If you've spent any amount of time on Instagram or YouTube in the last 10 years, you might think building epoxy river tables is easy money. I've decided to put that to the test. In this video, I'm building not one, but two epoxy river tables using the same methods, materials, and shortcuts I've seen other people use online. Then I'm going to attempt to sell them. This isn't a build video, it's a reality check, and it just might save you time and money. Do epoxy river tables really sell? Let's find out. I'm a big fan of epoxy, and believe it or not, I've been using it on projects since the late 1900s. So even though some folks think it's a little cliche and overused now, I still love watching videos about it and seeing the fun and unique ways it's being integrated into projects. And I never get tired of how slick and sophisticated a good-looking walnut table with black epoxy looks. The idea of being able to actually make money building these tables is really appealing to me. But to make it profitable, it needs to be fast and repeatable with as little waste as possible. So I got some reusable molds from Jeff Mack Supply to keep from having to use and waste melamine if this all works out. And I picked up a cherry and walnut slab because they both are going to offer what I think will be two really striking tables without being just the same old, same old. While I must have watched hundreds of these videos by now, I'm already learning new tips and tricks, like this one.
Dude! That shot me in the...
I got a little overdramatic there, but quick reminder to wear a good thick apron when spinny stuff is angled twixt your nethers. That is a lot of epoxy. Yes, it is, past dust. That is a substantial amount of epoxy. A little over $200 worth of epoxy went into this table. $400 worth in total for both tables. The slabs were $300 and $200 respectively, and the molds were around $250 each. So the total investment so far in the video is about $1,400. Super Clear's deep pour epoxy is my favorite for projects like this. It's easy to work with and really forgiving, which comes in handy if it's your first few times working with it. I'll leave a link down in the description for an exclusive discount if you're interested. The whole thing is 50 grams, so I think I need like half of that. Ooh, that was quite a bit more. Watching that mica powder mix in is so friggin' satisfying. The ripples and the alternating colors as all the individual granules get spun around is hypnotic. And the pores, just look at that. I was not kidding when I said I love epoxy. With that first pour done, I babysat it for a few hours with the heat gun to make sure the bubbles were popping, and I gave it a stir a few times before realizing it's going to churn itself over and over for the next 4 or 5 hours anyway, so I just let it tack up and got started on table numero 20. For this one, I used a round mold. I thought having one table of each shape but similar size would be a good plan just in case the test goes really well. This mold was way thicker and heavier than the rectangular one, and it was pretty straightforward to just trace out the shape, then cut out the 3 pieces I'd need with a jigsaw. But after I cut that first piece, I started to worry I wasn't going to have enough from this one slab to create the 3-piece look I was going for, especially since the last few feet were pretty thin and barky. Yeah. But I ended up having just enough, and thanks to the apron, didn't even get any more unsolicited acupuncture. The mica powder I used on both tables were Mayspring, silver druzy on the first one, and pure copper on the second. I didn't really think I'd like this copper, but as soon as I poured it in there, it just looks luxurious. I tried to be sparing with the pour and not use too much, But it turns out I need clamps or something heavier than 25-pound weights because it just flooded underneath and wasted quite a bit. It was about this time I really wished I'd remembered to order some mold release. Thankfully, it popped right out and looked really cool. Before these two tables, I had an unspoken rule that if it didn't fit in my planer or drum sander, I didn't pour it, because flattening these things is a pain and makes a huge mess. But the new CNC made short work of both flattening and doing the final cutouts. Honestly, that part alone made most of the finishing portion of these tables way easier than it looked in a lot of videos online. I was working on several other customer projects at the same time as these tables, but if I'd been focusing on them exclusively, except for the cure time of the epoxy and the additional coats of finish, I think I could have knocked out the majority of the work here inside of one day. That could make this sort of project very appealing and something I could batch out pretty easily if this works out and I can actually sell them. The biggest problem I had on either table was using a finish I'd never tried before. You see, I have this character flaw where if I see someone do something in a YouTube video, I think, oh cool, I know how to do that now. But on this particular finish, that was a big negative, Ghost Rider. I gummed up my Festool sander, almost ruining it. I don't know if I used too much of this stuff. It just looked like super easy watching other people do it, but man, did it look like garbage when I finished. I convinced myself it must just need time to dry or cure, and they didn't include that in the videos I'd watched. So I lasered these up and powered through. The goal at this point was to get some glamour shots of these things posted online ASAP and kickstart the funnel that was going to bring in some cash. Normally, I'd want to build custom legs for something like this. But to keep the test true to what I'd seen most folks doing online, I just ordered a couple sets of steel legs from Amazon. Each set was around $25 or $30 each, and for that price point, I was really impressed with their sturdiness and how good they looked. But I could not get over how the finish turned out. I hated it. It was gummy and really bland looking, but I was convinced it was my own fault. So I watched a few more videos, then picked up an inexpensive buffer from Harbor Freight and gave them both another sanding and polishing. I still hated that finish, but at this point I really needed to get this test started and more importantly get these tables out of my workshop and hopefully some money back in my pocket. So I cleaned them both up, took some glamour shots and posted them on Facebook Marketplace. Now I know the cesspool that Facebook Marketplace has become, but at a minimum I expected to get some entertaining comments about how ugly they were, how the price was too expensive, how it was stupid, or how I should pay them to come pick these up. But instead, I got nothing. Crickets. So, at the suggestion of some of my other YouTube buddies, I decided to start lowering the price every 2 days by $100. Nothing. Still crickets. At this point, I reached out to a local guy who seemed to be very successful at this exact same thing. And he said, Facebook Marketplace is the worst place to sell something like that, and that I should look somewhere that it's more suited for handmade items to be sold. Now, I knew he was talking about Etsy, but I have had zero luck with Etsy over the years, except for having my ideas stolen and sold for a fraction of the cost that I can even build them. But for the sake of science, I dusted off my Etsy login and got both tables posted there. Then I paid for Etsy ads to make sure I was getting enough eyes to give me a fighting chance on selling these. But as of the time of this recording, those tables have been on Etsy for 2 months and gotten 1 click. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I resanded both of those tables down and shot them with 4 coats of industrial polyurethane. They looked slick. Then I decided to try to sell them as God intended, by opening a woodworking booth on the side of the road. I loaded up my truck and trailer with a whole bunch of items, including those 2 tables, to make sure I didn't just look like some weirdo with 2 tables on the side of the road. Instead, I looked like some weirdo with about a dozen woodworking items on the side of the road. I specifically chose Sunday just after church on the main thoroughfare of my community. This would ensure plenty of traffic was going to drive by during the time that I was there. Hundreds, if not thousands, of cars drove by me during that window, and only one person stopped. And he stopped to talk about the handmade guitars I'd set up there as well. Shout out to Logan, super cool dude. Back to the conversation with my local colleague. At the time that I talked to him, he had 18 orders in queue, just none in my local area. So as far as I can tell, the answer to the question, do epoxy river tables really sell, is yes, just not for me. But hey, on the bright side, now I've got a huge serving board and a piece of wall art I can use in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.